Hi, my name is Bill Floyd. This is Labor Union TV. We're introducing you to John Grant, who is Vice President of the United Food and Commercial Workers, which is a famous, wonderful union. Okay, this is John. Hi, John.
Good to see you, Bill.
Good. So we're going to ask him a few questions. Okay. So how many members do you represent? And is this just in California, or is it nationally? Tell us about how the union kind of works.
So UFCW Local 770 is one of the locals of several hundred locals within United Food and Commercial Workers. We represent about 31,000 workers.
Great.
Over 5 counties. The major part of LA County and the 3 tri-counties, Ventura, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and parts of Kern County.
Great, great. And so, your union's been around for 20, 30 years, no?
How long? The local actually was established in 1937.
Wow.
The beginning of the super grocery change then, and then marks the division of both retail food and drug, Kaiser employees, packing house and food processing, which
Great.
goes back to the CIO,
Sure.
and then our newest division, medical marijuana dispensaries.
Is that big? I heard they legalized in California.
So the medical marijuana.
Not that you notice.
We represent about some 30 dispensaries and have another 40 to 50 that we're in the process of organizing and coming to a contract with.
Okay, that's great. Now we're coming up on May Day. May Day is a very important holiday for labor internationally, but here it's not been. But here it's been for immigration, mostly, in the past. But this May Day, we've heard that there's not just the usual unions, but maybe 18 unions that are participating. So it's going to be more of a general protest, labor protest, than just an immigration demand. Is that how you feel about it?
I think it's actually a joining of the two.
Oh, good.
We're hoping for some 20,000 workers to strike, take the day off.
From your union or other unions?
All the unions together.
Okay.
We're looking to say maybe 500-600 of our unions striking that, members taking that day off, to in fact demand respect and dignity, which we think is completely under attack
Totally.
with the current administration.
Yes.
But merging the two with the respect and dignity for all workers, whether or not they have documents or not.
Yes.
So there's actually sort of a perfect collaboration around workers' rights as well as the rights of immigrant workers.
The Teamsters talk about a war on workers, that the companies have gotten bigger and gotten global all over the world, and they've organized a war against us. How do you feel about that?
I think that's spot on. If you look at the increase in wage inequality, it's at the highest levels that we've seen in decades, since the turn of the century, if not higher. And in fact, the decline of the union at its worst point. And in fact, I think it's been buttressed by the fact that there's a national right to work legislation currently being proposed in Congress.
Yes. Now what are we going to do about national right to work? That's terrible.
Well, next Monday,
work for less.
Exactly what it is. It's actually they actually got ahead of us on this. This really should be right to work for less, where wages are less. In fact, the most recent document and data shows that in fact the deaths, workplace fatalities, are 50% higher in right to work for less states. So you find that where there is no democracy at the workplace, you find in fact workers not only earn less, they're more likely to be injured if not die.
Wow, that's heavy. I never heard that statistic. That's a big one. We got to get that to Washington before they pass that bill if they try to. Right to work. What a terrible slogan. The Republicans got good at slogans.
They got better PR firms than we do.
Better PR, yeah. Well, they sold cigarettes to us for years.
Yes, asbestos, the whole.
Right. Okay. So basically, you're calling out, maybe 500 or 600 people from your union are going to come out, but to make 1 million, it's going to be people from all the grocery workers. I don't know. It's going to be the cafeteria workers. It's going to be everybody.
Everyone. I mean, we're all under attack. I mean,
yes.
The attacks around undocumented workers, the attacks around overtime, the attacks around health and safety by the current administration. There's just the whole idea of the National Labor Relations Act is under attack.
Yes.
And so, in fact, we must seize the time. There is no time but now, and we have to show that expand the parameters of protest beyond inside lobbying. And in fact, this is where our strength lies. Our strength lies with the numbers, the massive numbers of people who work for a living.
Right.
And in fact, it's when we in fact exercise that power by taking the streets and refuse to work on the 1st that in fact we extend the resistance on May 1st.
That's great. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. But anyway, you're the first union that we were speaking with, and you're very eloquent, by the way. So I just want to let you know that. Yeah, I just want to get a feeling for how many. There's about 20 unions that I've talked to on the phone that said they're going. And so it's going to be a big day.
Yes, we're pretty excited about it. We were just planning right before you got here. We don't know. I think it's going to be actually larger than we anticipate. I know on the Women's March, people thought there'd be 50, 60, 70,000. There were 750,000 to 1 million people that came out. People couldn't even march. You couldn't even get to the march to march. Right. And we think it's the same thing, that in fact,
I hope so.
It's tapping a nerve. It's tapping a deeper understanding that we haven't for the longest time, that in fact something's missing in our lives. And this is our beginning steps to restore that.
Right. Uh-huh. Well, I can't wait. That's only a week away. That's going to be big. We're all looking forward to that. So are you having meetings with other unions, or are you doing it sort of through the Fed?
The Los Angeles County Federation of Labor is sort of hosting the meeting. So there are other unions as well as a number of community-based organizations. Immigrant Rights Works. We're all sort of coming together. It's a large coalition of peoples and their organizations that are looking for and trying to figure out the best way to respond to these attacks on our communities and our peoples.
Yes, good, good. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I think we can't wait. We're actually looking forward to it. It's actually, May Day was originated in this country.
Yes, 1888.
Yes. And it's sad that, in fact, it's gotten away from us and that the rest of the world took up that issue, popularized, and that it's time that it come back home.
Yes, sir.
And boy, do we need it now.
Do we ever. Well, we can have two days, September Labor Day and May 1st.
Right.
We need it now.
We should get at least two.
We do, for the labor unions. Okay. I mean, there's a possibility, there's such an anger in the unions that I've talked to about what's going on, the war on workers, the war on their rights, wages and benefits, and just a total onslaught by this administration, that I expect not only will it be May 1st, but there might be a Labor Day one also. And the way to build that, I don't know how to do it. I'm not an organizer myself, but John, maybe you could.
Well, I think it's a good point. How do we build upon this? That these aren't just a one-off. We had a nice time, walking down the streets and getting a little bit of skin cancer. But in fact, this has to be what the rally is, what the march is really a conversation. It's a conversation amongst ourselves and the rest of the community about what America should look like.
Yes.
And these conversations are really what, as we say, this is what democracy looks like. And this is how we're going to extend democracy. And we're going to make sure, our understanding of democracy, our participation in democracy to every street corner, to every community, and make sure that we have an understanding and we extend the rights and respect for people who work for a living and who are in this country and contribute. And in fact, take back this country, take back our communities. And this is the beginning of that step.
Great. That's great. I think we've wrapped up the interview, so it's time to, John's got to get back to work, and I've run out of questions. Unless you have more you want to talk about.
Good.
Okay. John,
thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank
you, John, for this interview. And good luck with your union. You've got one of the best unions in the country. I just want to say that.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.